David and I just got back from the now permanent residence of, wait for it, Zakir Naik. We even took a picture to prove it. After persuading the guards to grant us access to his padded cell, Zakir spent most of the time trying to persuade us of his crackpot theory that the Quran does not really teach that a Muslim male has the right to beat his wife if he fears that she might be disobedient. Before he was sedated and restrained for crazy talk, we were able to get the following footage.
When your wife does not listen to you, then you should warn her. If yet she does not follow your instruction, then you refuse to share the bed. And yet if she doesn't listen, then the Arabic word there is darba. That means beat her lightly.
So far, that's not entirely inaccurate. But as Zakir continued to speak, it was apparent that the psychosuppressants were wearing off, because he went on to say,
"It's a symbolic beating." And the explanation is given in the sayings of the Prophet ﷺ, in the authentic hadith, that it is like beating with a miswak, beating with a toothbrush, which is a thin stick. In today's age, I would say, beating with a handkerchief. Now imagine when you beat with a handkerchief, surely it will not hurt. It is more of a symbolic beating. And the Prophet said, you should not beat your wife on the face. You should not beat on the body which leaves a mark, indicating that this beating is only symbolic.
As you can see, Zakir is either crazy enough to believe what he just said, or he's crazy enough to think that the rest of the world is going to believe that Muhammad did the following with the equivalent of an ancient handkerchief. She, that is Aisha, said, "When it was my turn for Allah's messenger to spend the night with me, he turned his side, put on his mantle, and took off his shoes, and placed them near his feet, and spread the corner of his shawl on his bed, and then lay down till he thought that I had gone to sleep. He took hold of his mantle slowly, and put on the shoes slowly, and opened the door, and went out, and then closed it lightly. I covered my head, put on my veil, and tightened my waist wrapper, and then went out following his step till he reached Baki. He stood there, and he stood for a long time. He then lifted his hands 3 times, and then returned, and I also returned. He hastened his steps, and I also hastened my steps. He ran, and I too ran. He came to the house, and I also came to the house. I, however, preceded him, and I entered the house, and as I lay down in the bed, he entered the house and said, 'Why is it, O Aisha, that you are out of breath?' I said, 'There is nothing.' He said, 'Tell me, or the subtle and the aware would inform me.' I said, 'Messenger of Allah, may my father and mother be ransom for you.' And then I told him the whole story. He said, 'Was it the darkness of your shadow that I saw in front of me?' I said, 'Yes.' He struck me on the chest, which caused me pain, and then said, 'Did you think that Allah and his apostle would deal unjustly with you?' She said, 'Whatsoever the people conceal, Allah will know it.'" Muhammad must have had quite the toothbrush, or handkerchief-like thing. And from the following hadith, it would appear that he wasn't the only one. Narrated by Ikrimah, Rifa'ah divorced his wife, whereupon Abdur Rahman bin Az-Zubair al-Qurazi married her. Aisha said that the lady came wearing a green veil and complained to her, Aisha, of her husband, and showed her a green spot on her skin caused by beating. It was the habit of ladies to support each other. So when Allah's apostle came, Aisha said, "I have not seen any woman suffering as much as the believing women. Look, her skin is greener than her clothes." None of this should be surprising to us. When we read in the Quran that women are deficient in intelligence and religion, that men are superior to women, that a woman's testimony is only worth half that of a man, that a woman is the sign of an evil omen, that the majority of the dwellers in the hellfire are women, we shouldn't be surprised that Surah 434 tells Muslim men to beat their wives in order to keep them in line. Now, while this shouldn't surprise us in light of the overall teaching of the Quran, what should surprise us is that Muslim apologists like the ever-zany Zakir Naik would attempt to persuade us that Islam is the religion that exalts women.
Islam is a religion which gives rights to the woman, and no religion in the world gives as much of rights to the woman as Islam.
I could easily go on proving just how wildly out of step Zakir Naik is with reality, but for now I need to go make sure that my wife has my dinner ready. Where's my handkerchief?